Manchester United fans, buckle up, because this summer is shaping up to be one of the most important rebuild windows in years, and if you strip away all the noise, all the rumors, all the social media chaos, and just listen carefully to what Ben Jacobs is consistently saying, a very clear and structured picture is starting to emerge about what Manchester United are actually planning behind the scenes. And the first thing to understand, and this is absolutely crucial, is that despite all the headlines linking United to big names every single day, the club internally is not chopping and changing targets. They are not panicking. They are not reacting emotionally. They have a plan, and that plan has been steady for months. Let's start with the biggest talking point, the midfield. Because if you've been following the news, you'll have seen constant links to Sandro Tonali, big headlines suggesting he could be the marquee signing, fans getting excited about a statement deal, but according to Jacobs, the reality is very different. Yes, United like Tonali. Yes, they respect his ability. But liking a player and actually signing him are two completely different things. The issue here is cost, and not just the transfer fee. We're talking about a total package that could exceed £100 million, possibly well beyond that when you factor in wages and agent commissions. And in a summer where United want to bring in multiple players, not just one superstar, that kind of deal becomes what Jacobs calls prohibitive. Not impossible, but not smart. Not efficient. Not aligned with the broader rebuild. And this is where the Real story begins. Because while everyone else is talking about Tonali, Manchester United's actual plan A has been sitting there the whole time, Elliot Anderson. Jacobs has been crystal clear on this for weeks, even months. Anderson is the priority. And what's fascinating is why. This isn't just about talent, it's about profile, flexibility, long-term fit, and financial logic. Anderson is younger, his wages would be lower, his agent fees are more manageable, and tactically, he offers something incredibly valuable, versatility. He can play as a 6, as an 8, even push forward and contribute offensively in a way similar to what Declan Rice evolved into during his later years at West Ham. And here's where things get really interesting, because Manchester United are not alone. Manchester City are also pushing for Anderson. So what we're potentially looking at is a direct Manchester derby battle in the transfer market, red versus blue, for one of the most in-demand midfielders in the league. And that alone tells you everything you need to know about how highly Anderson is rated. But the story doesn't stop there. Because one of the biggest insights from Jacobs is that United are not just signing a midfielder. They're building a midfield unit. He expects up to 5 signings this summer, with at least 2 being central midfielders. That changes everything. Because now it's not just about getting the best player, it's about chemistry. It's about balance. It's about how these players fit together alongside Kobbie Mainoo, who is seen as a cornerstone of the future. So imagine this, if Anderson is the first signing, dynamic, versatile, capable of playing multiple roles, then the second midfielder might be someone more specialized. Someone who can sit deeper, control tempo, add defensive stability but still progress the ball. And that's where names like João Gomez and Angelo Stiller come into the conversation. Not necessarily headline signings, but crucial pieces in building a complete midfield. And this is the difference in approach. In the past, Manchester United might have gone all in on one big name. Now, it's about constructing a system. Moving forward, let's talk about the attack, because there are some major developments here as well. One of the clearest takeaways from Jacobs is that United will prioritize a left winger after sorting out midfield. And this is where Yandai Mandé comes in, a player highly rated within the club. He fits the modern profile. Pace, defensive work rate, ability to stretch the pitch, and versatility in attacking roles. But again, there's a catch, price. If the deal stays close to €100 million, United may hesitate. Why? Because that level of investment is currently earmarked for midfield. So unless the price drops or the market shifts, United may look at more economical alternatives. And speaking of alternatives, another name that keeps coming up is Anthony Gordon. Now this is a really interesting one. Gordon brings intensity, pressing, work rate, and the ability to contribute both offensively and defensively. He's the kind of winger modern systems thrive on, someone who doesn't just attack, but tracks back, covers ground, and contributes to the overall structure of the team. At the same time, United have looked at Iliman Ndiaye, but this deal looks unlikely. Everton FC are in a stronger financial position now, they're pushing for European football, and they are determined to keep their key players. So while Ndiaye fits certain tactical boxes, prizing him away would be extremely difficult. Now let's shift to defense, because while it's not the top priority, there are still important developments. United are exploring both fullback and centre-back options, but progress is slower here. Why? Because it depends heavily on the next manager. Different managers use fullbacks in completely different ways, somewhat attacking wingbacks, others prefer more defensive stability. So until that decision is finalized, United are keeping their options open. There is interest in Miles Lewis-Skelly, but any deal with Arsenal FC would require a massive offer. At centre-back, Jared Branthwaite remains on the radar, but this feels more like a strategic, long-term move rather than an immediate signing, especially with Harry Maguire staying, which gives United stability and time to plan properly. And that brings us to the managerial situation. One of the most talked about topics among fans. From the outside, it might seem like nothing is happening. No interviews, no announcements, no clear direction. But according to Jacobs, that couldn't be further from the truth. This is a structured, step-by-step process happening behind the scenes. Right now, two names stand out, Michael Carrick and Julian Nagelsmann. Carrick represents continuity, stability, and a connection to the club's identity. Nagelsmann represents a more modern, tactical evolution. And crucially, United are not rushing this decision. They want to assess everything, performances, long-term vision, squad fit, before making the call. As for Mauricio Pochettino, despite the speculation, he is not currently a priority. And names like Luis Enrique are considered unrealistic due to contractual situations. Finally, let's talk about outgoings, because they are just as important. One of the clearest situations is André Onana. He is not expected to return to Manchester United's plans and will likely leave permanently, with interest from Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, the future of Marcus Rashford remains uncertain, reinforcing the need for attacking reinforcements. So when you put all of this together, the picture becomes clear: this is not a chaotic transfer window. This is a calculated rebuild. Midfield first. Smart spending. Tactical balance. Long-term planning. And if United get this right, it could define the next era of the club. If you've enjoyed this deep dive and want more updates like this every single week, make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would you take Elliot Anderson over Sandro Tonali? Backhand index pointing down.